Berlin, 1943. By day, he was Jacob Muller, a German orphan, servant boy in the home of a respected Wehrmacht officer. But every night, lying in his small room in the attic, he remembered the truth. His name was Jacob Levin. He was Jewish, and if anyone discovered his secret, he would die. What he didn't know was that someone already knew, and that secret would end up saving them both. A happy Jewish family. Jacob Levin, 8, plays with his older sister Sarah, 12, while their parents, David and Miriam, prepare for Shabbat. Their apartment is modest but warm. Photos line the walls. A menorah sits on the shelf. Narrator Vio, Jacob Levin was 8 years old when his world began to end. It didn't happen all at once. It happened in stages. First the loss, then the star, then the fear, chaos, broken glass, flames. Young Jacob watches in horror as their synagogue burns. His father rushes them home. David urgent, pack only what you can carry. We leave tonight. Miriam, where will we go? David, anywhere. Just away from here. But it's already too late. There's a knock at the door. A pounding. Fast forward 3 years. The Levins are in the Jewish quarter, wearing yellow stars. Jacob is now 11, thinner, quieter. His sister Sarah is 15. Narrator Vio, they survived 2 years in the ghetto. Barely. Then came the deportations. Jacob's parents made an impossible choice. David pulls Jacob aside, away from the others. David, Jacob, listen to me carefully. There's a family, the Hoffmans. They're not Jewish. They knew us before the war. Your mother arranged for them to take you. Jacob, panicking, no. I won't leave you. David, you must. You're small. You look Aryan with your blonde hair. You can pass. Sarah, she looks too much like your mother. Jacob, what about you? What about Mama and Sarah? David can't answer. He just holds his son. David, remember who you are. But never tell anyone. Never. Promise me. Jacob, crying, I promise, Papa. That's the last time Jacob sees his family. The Hoffmans, Franz, 45, and his wife Greta, 42, are good people, but terrified. Jacob, now 12, sits at their kitchen table with new papers. Jacob Muller, orphan. Franz, nervous. You must forget your old name. Forget everything. You are Jacob Muller now. Your parents died in an air raid in Hamburg. You have no other family. Jacob, quietly, I understand. Greta, softly. Want to keep you here, child. But it's too dangerous. We have neighbors who watch. There's a knock at the door. Everyone freezes. Franz answers. It's a Gestapo officer with a clipboard, conducting a census. Gestapo officer, everyone living here must be registered. The officer looks at Jacob. Gestapo officer, Santee, this boy? Franz, my nephew. War orphan from Hamburg. Jacob Muller. The officer studies Jacob's face. Jacob forces himself to meet his eyes, not look away. After an eternity, the officer writes something down. Gestapo officer papers? Franz hands them over. Forged, but good forgeries. The officer examines them. Gestapo officer, Santee. To Jacob, your parents? Jacob, voice steady, dead in the bombing, sir. 1941. The officer hands back the papers and leaves. When the door closes, Greta sinks into a chair, shaking. Narrator Vio, the Hoffmans tried. But the fear was too much. After a neighbor made a comment about the new boy, they made arrangements to send Jacob away. Jacob sits with a suitcase. Franz hands him an address. Franz, this is a labor office. They're looking for boys to work as servants in officers' homes. It's actually safer. You'll have papers, ration cards, a place to stay. And you'll be hidden in plain sight. A large, impressive house in a better part of Berlin. Jacob stands in the foyer with his small bag. A housekeeper, Fru Schmidt, 55, looks him over. Fru Schmidt, you're small for 14. Jacob, lying about his age. I don't eat much, ma'am. Footsteps on the stairs. Colonel Heinrich Richter, 48, descends. Wehrmacht officer. Iron cross on his uniform. Stern face. Jacob's heart pounds. Richter, this is the boy. Fru Schmidt, yes. Her colonel. Jacob Muller. Orphan. Clean papers. Richter studies Jacob with intense, intelligent eyes. Jacob feels like he's being x-rayed. Richter, you can read? Jacob, yes, sir. Richter, right? Jacob, yes, sir. Richter, good. You'll help Frau Schmidt, run errands, and assist me with correspondence when needed. You'll have a room in the attic. Dismissed. Narrator VO. Colonel Heinrich Richter was not what Jacob expected. He wasn't a screaming fanatic. He was quiet, thoughtful, precise. A career soldier who had fought in the First War and now commanded a logistics division. He spent most of his time at his desk, managing supply lines, not on the front lines. Montage of Jacob's new life. Serving meals, polishing boots, sorting mail, reading to Richter from reports. Jacob is careful, always respectful, always proper, never making eye contact for too long. Jacob is in Richter's study, organizing papers. He picks up a document and freezes. It's a transport list. Names, Jewish names, destinations, Auschwitz, Treblinka. He's staring at it when Richter walks in. Richter, something interesting? Jacob quickly sets it down. Jacob, no, sir. I'm sorry, sir. You can read those names. I was just organizing. Jacob, Richter, CA. I just saw. I didn't mean to. Richter, they're Jewish names. Do you know any Jewish people, Jacob? Jacob's blood runs cold. Jacob, no, sir. Not anymore. They're all gone from our neighborhood. Richter watches him for a long moment. Richter, yes. They are. He takes the document and locks it in a drawer. Jacob's hands shake as he leaves the room. Scene 3 months in. Jacob has settled into a routine. He's good at being invisible, but he's also starving. The servant rations are barely enough. Late one night, unable to sleep, he sneaks down to the kitchen for extra bread. He's eating quickly when he hears a sound. Richter stands in the doorway. Jacob, terrified, sir. I'm sorry. I was hungry. Richter, surprising him. The rations aren't enough. Richter crosses to the pantry and pulls out cheese, sausage, bread. Sets it on the table. Richter, so indeed, eat. Jacob stares at the food, then at Richter. Richter, so indeed, you're a growing boy. The Reich expects you to work, but I won't have a starving skeleton in my house. Eat. Every night if you need to. Just don't waste anything. He starts to leave, then pauses. Richter, so indeed, and Jacob? Stop being afraid of me. Winter 1943. Jacob is sick, a fever. He's delirious in his attic room. Frau Schmidt has gone to her sister's for the week. Richter comes to check on him. Richter, how long have you had this fever? Jacob, barely conscious. 2 days. I'm fine. I can work. Richter, you're burning up. I'm calling a doctor. Jacob, panic breaking through fever, no. No doctor. Please. Richter, don't be ridiculous. You need. Jacob, desperate, delirious. They'll know. They'll see. Please, Papa, don't let them see. The words slip out. Jacob's eyes widen in horror as he realizes what he said. Richter goes very still. Richter, quietly. What will they see, Jacob? Jacob is crying now. Fever and fear breaking through years of control. Jacob, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't. Please don't send me away. Richter sits on the edge of the bed. His voice is soft, measured. Richter, how old are you? Really? Jacob, whispering, 13. I'll be 14 in March. Richter, and your real name? Jacob closes his eyes. This is it. This is how he dies. Jacob Levin. Long silence. Then, Richter Levin. Jewish? Jacob nods, waiting for it. The shout, the call for the Gestapo, the end. Richter, so indeed. Calmly. I suspected as much. Jacob's eyes fly open. Jacob, what? Richter, you're too careful. Too controlled. You watch every word, every gesture. And you flinch when you hear certain names. I've known for 2 months. Jacob, terrified, are you going to? Richter, no. I'm going to get you medicine. And you're going to recover. And we're never going to speak of this again. He stands to leave. Richter, so indeed, my son was named Jacob. He died at Stalingrad last year. He was 19. He looks at this sick boy in the narrow bed. Richter, so indeed, I couldn't save him. Perhaps I can save you. Days later. Jacob is better. He and Richter are in the study. There's an elephant in the room. Jacob, why? Richter, why what? Jacob, why not turn me in? You're an officer. You took an oath. I'm what you're supposed to. Richter, cutting him off. I took an oath to Germany. to protect German lives. Somewhere along the way, that got twisted into this. He gestures vaguely, meaning the war, the regime, everything. Richter, so indeed, I'm a soldier, Jacob, not a murderer. And what they're doing to your people, that's not war. That's murder. Jacob, but you still serve. You still wear the uniform. Richter, painfully honest, yes. I do. Because I'm a coward. I tell myself I'm different, that I don't participate in the worst of it. But I know what's happening. And I do nothing. Except, he looks at Jacob. Richter, so except keep one Jewish boy alive. It's not much. But it's something. Narrator VO, after that night, something changed. They never spoke of the secret explicitly, but it hung between them, a shared burden, a shared risk. If anyone discovered the truth, both would die. Richter for harboring a Jew. Jacob for being one. Montage of their careful life. Richter teaching Jacob chess, speaking carefully when other officers visit. Jacob burning letters, with Hebrew on them, that somehow reached the house. Richter intercepting a Gestapo census, forging Jacob's records himself. Jacob overhearing Richter on the phone, his voice cold and distant, approving a transport, then seeing his face after, haunted. Late 1944. The war is going badly. Allied bombs fall on Berlin regularly. Jacob is now 15, taller, but still thin. Jacob, while they're in the cellar during an air raid, do you think we'll lose? Richter, yes. Jacob, what will happen to you? When the Russians come. Richter, I'll probably be shot. Or imprisoned. Jacob and me. Richter, you'll be free. You'll tell them who you are. They'll believe you. Jacob, quietly. Will they believe I didn't collaborate? This question hits Richter hard. Jacob, co-indeed. I've lived in a Nazi officer's house for 2 years. I've served your friends. Smiled at them. Brought them wine while they talked about the war. When they ask what I did during the war, what do I say? Richter, you say you survived. That's all that matters. Jacob, is it? You said you were a coward for serving while knowing. What does that make me? Richter has no answer. The house shakes from nearby explosions. The Russians are advancing. The Gestapo is making final sweeps, looking for deserters, traitors, hidden Jews. A pounding on the door. Frau Schmidt opens it. 3 Gestapo officers. Gestapo officer Colonel Richter? Richter appears, in full uniform. Richter, yes. Gestapo officer, we're conducting final security sweeps. All residents must be documented. They push past him. Jacob is in the kitchen. His heart stops. Gestapo officer, ward, so indeed. Who's this? I have his papers. Richter produces the forged documents. The officer studies them, then looks at Jacob. Gestapo officer, come here, boy. Jacob approaches. The officer grabs his face, turning it side to side, examining his features. Gestapo officer, so indeed, good German stock. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Pity he's not bigger. We could use him in the Volkssturm. He's about to release Jacob when he notices something. Jacob's hands trembling. Gestapo officer, so indeed. Why are you shaking, boy? Afraid of me? Jacob, finding his voice, the bomb, sir. Last night. One hit close. The officer grunts, satisfied. But then his colleague finds something, a book, fallen behind a shelf in Richter's study. He holds it up. Gestapo officer to her colonel. Why do you have this? It's a Hebrew prayer book. Jacob's. He thought he'd burned it, but he'd kept one, hidden. And now it's been found. The room goes silent. The officers look at Richter. At Jacob. Gestapo officer explained this. Richter doesn't miss a beat. Richter confiscated material from my division's operations in Poland. I kept it for personal reasons. Gestapo officer, personal reasons? Richter, my son died at Stalingrad. Before he left, he asked me to understand why we were fighting. I kept this to remind myself of the enemy, to understand their thinking. The lie is perfect, delivered without hesitation. The officers look at each other. Gestapo officer, suspiciously. And you keep it behind a shelf? Not displayed as a trophy. This is it. This is where they both die. Suddenly, air raid sirens blare. The building shakes, a close hit. Dust falls from the ceiling. Gestapo officer, to we need to go. The shelter. Gestapo officer, still suspicious, but urgent. This isn't over, Colonel. We'll be back. They leave. The moment they're gone, Richter turns to Jacob. Richter, pack. Only what you can carry. We're leaving. Jacob, where? Richter, anywhere but here. They'll be back. And next time they'll look closer. Berlin is falling apart. Buildings burn. People flee. Richter and Jacob move through the chaos. Richter still in uniform. Jacob carrying a small bag. Richter, stay close. Don't speak unless spoken to. They reach a checkpoint. German soldiers, checking papers, looking for deserters. Soldier, where are you going, Colonel? Richter, Reichstag. Command post. The soldier waves them through. They don't go to the Reichstag. They go to a bombed-out apartment building. Richter, we wait here. When the Russians come, you tell them everything. Show them this. He hands Jacob a letter, written in German and Russian. Jacob, what is it? Richter, a statement. Explaining who you are. What I did. It should be enough to keep you from being sent to a camp as a collaborator. Jacob, and you? Richter, I'll surrender separately. It's better that way. Jacob, they'll shoot you. You're an officer. Richter, probably. Jacob, desperate, then don't. Come with me. Tell them you saved me. Tell them. Richter, tell them what? That I kept one Jewish boy alive while thousands died. That I signed transport orders with one hand and fed you with the other? I'm damned, Jacob. But you're not. Artillery sounds close. The building shakes. Richter, Santid, when this is over, if you survive, if you find any of your family, tell them. Tell them you lived. That's all that matters. He stands to leave. Jacob, Colonel, Heinrich, wait. Richter turns. Jacob hugs him. This stern, cold man who saved his life. After a moment, Richter hugs back. Richter, quietly. You're a good boy, Jacob Levin. Your parents would be proud. He leaves. Jacob watches him disappear into the smoke and chaos. Russian soldiers sweep through the building. They find Jacob, thin, scared, but alive. An interpreter questions him. Interpreter, who are you? Jacob Levin. I'm Jewish. I have papers. He shows them Richter's letter. The interpreter reads it, eyes widening. Interpreter, you were hidden by a Nazi officer? Jacob, he saved my life. The soldiers look at each other, skeptical. But the letter is detailed, and Jacob's terror is real. Narrator VO, Jacob was taken to a displaced persons camp. It took weeks to verify his story. Some didn't believe him. How could a Nazi officer save a Jewish boy? But the letter was real, and Jacob was alive. Months later, Jacob walks through Berlin's ruins, searching. He asks at every checkpoint, Heinrich Richter, Wehrmacht Colonel, have you seen him? Finally, a British officer gives him news. British officer Richter? I know that name. Tried at Nuremberg for war crimes. Jacob, heart sinking when, British officer last month. Sentenced to 10 years. He's in Spandau prison. Jacob, can I see him? British officer, no visitors. Not for war criminals. Jacob's face falls. The officer sees something in his expression. British officer, so indeed. Why do you want to see him? Jacob, because he saved my life. Jacob, now 21, stands outside Spandau prison. He's been trying to arrange this for years. Finally, strings were pulled. He's allowed inside. They bring Richter to a visitor's room. He's aged terribly, gray hair, thin, hollow-eyed. He sees Jacob and stops. Richter, softly, you lived. Jacob, so did you. Richter, this isn't living. This is waiting to die. They sit. A guard watches from the corner. Jacob, I try to testify at your trial. They wouldn't let me. Richter, good. You shouldn't be here. Jacob, you saved my life. Richter, and signed the death warrants of hundreds. Don't make me a saint, Jacob. I'm not. Jacob, I'm not here to make you a saint. I'm here to say thank you. Richter's composure cracks slightly. Jacob, so indeed, I found my sister. Sarah. She survived Ravensbrück. We're emigrating to America next month. We're going to start over. Richter, genuine smile, I'm glad. Truly. Jacob, I need to know. My parents. Were they? Richter's face answers before his words do. Richter, Auschwitz. Early 1943. I'm sorry. Jacob nods, having known but needed to hear it. Jacob, the letter you wrote. The one that saved me. They kept it as evidence at your trial. They said it proved you knew what was happening to the Jews. That you were complicit. Richter, they're right. I did know. Jacob, but you saved me. Richter, one boy. One life. It doesn't balance the scales. Jacob, no. But it matters. A guard announces time is up. Jacob, CONT'd. I'm going to tell your story. People should know. About the secret that saved us both. Richter, what secret is that? Jacob, that even in the darkest times, even in the heart of evil, some people chose differently. Not enough people. Not nearly enough. But some. They stand. Jacob extends his hand. After a moment, Richter takes it. Richter, goodbye, Jacob Levin. Live well. Jacob, goodbye, Heinrich Richter. And thank you. An elderly Jacob, now 85, speaks to a classroom of students. Behind him, projected on a screen, an old photograph of a young boy and a stern Wehrmacht colonel. Elderly Jacob, people ask me, how could you forgive him? How could you thank a Nazi? And I tell them, he wasn't a Nazi. He was a soldier who did terrible things. But he was also the man who chose to save me when he didn't have to. A student raises her hand. Student, was he a good person? Elderly Jacob, I don't know. I don't think he knew. I think he spent his whole life trying to figure out how to be a good person in an evil time. And mostly he failed. Except for one thing. Me. He looks at the photograph. Elderly Jacob, so indeed, the secret we shared saved us both. It saved my life, literally. And it saved his soul, maybe. Not completely. Not enough to erase what he did. But enough that when he died in that prison in 1965, he died knowing he'd chosen right at least once. Narrator VO, Jacob Levin died in 2018, at the age of 89. He spent his life teaching about the Holocaust, speaking about his experience, and asking the hardest question, what would you have done? In his memoir he wrote, I survived because one man chose humanity over ideology. It wasn't enough to stop the evil, but it was enough to save me. And I have spent every day since trying to be worthy of that choice. During the Holocaust, approximately 1.5 million Jewish children were murdered. A tiny number survived by hiding in attics, cellars, forests, and sometimes in plain sight. Even fewer were hidden by members of the Nazi military or government. This story is based on documented cases of Jewish children who survived by hiding in the homes of German officers, including the experiences of Ruth Arndt and others. Those who had Jews risked execution. Those who were hidden risked discovery every moment of every day. This is dedicated to all who made the choice to hide a child, and to all children who survived by becoming invisible.